thing is super, super juicy. Probably one of my favorite cooks of the year. Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm cooking some chuck roast. If you could find a good one, it's a phenomenal bite. Now, it is critical that when you're looking for a chuck roast, that you find a chuck roast that has, one, a thicker, these are 5-pound chuck roasts. You want to find a chuck roast that has a lot of marbling, as much marbling as you can. If you can't find one that has marbling in it, it's probably not going to turn out that good. That's probably the hardest part, is finding a good piece of meat. I got these from Mr. Brisket. I'll put the link in the description. They ship around the world, so give them a look. They got some good stuff there. But chuck roast, we're going to be cooking these like basically like a mini brisket. This is a good intro into, if you just started barbecuing, starting out with a chuck roast like this, it will just kind of get you used to the longer cooks, and we're going to be doing the same process. So at some point I'll be wrapping these in butcher paper. We're going to take them past 200, and the great thing about it is you don't have to do a lot of trimming. So I just seasoned these up with mainly pepper, and then I added a layer of floury seasoned salt on there. But these are all seasoned up. I'm going to get the smoker fired up at 200 degrees, and we'll get these things on. Okay, so we're going to start out nice and low. Like I said, we have the smoker running at 200 to 225. We're going to run like this for the first 3 hours. We'll check back, probably give them a nice spritz. See you in a bit. Today, we're smoking with hickory. All right, so these are looking pretty good. Color, we're starting to get some color on them. Bark's starting to set. They're looking a little dry on the top, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a nice little spritz with some whiskey. And then I'll give these things a flip, just make sure I'm spritzing the other side. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna bump up the temperature of the smoker to 250 to 275. This is typical. I do this for most of my cooks. I'd like to start out low and then get a good buildup of smoke, and then kind of bump up the temperature and kind of make up time later in the cook. When we wrap, we'll even increase the temperature even more. If you got a smaller chuck roast, these are 5-pound chuck roasts, you might have a smaller chuck roast. You can kind of vary with the times, but typically I like to do 3-hour mark. They're probing about 130 degrees. Every chuck roast is going to be a little bit different, but at this point I'm going to bump up the temperature 250 to 275, and then I'll give it another spritz in a few hours, and then eventually we'll wrap them with some butcher paper. So stay tuned. Hey guys, I wanted to take a second here to thank our video sponsor today, bbqsource Pro. If you're in the market for a smoker, grill, a pizza oven, definitely check them out. Use discount code FIREFORGE for $100 off your first order. Okay, the chuck roasts are looking really, really nice. At this point, they're not gonna really absorb too much more smoke. So I'm gonna treat it like a brisket and wrap it in some butcher paper. So let me get that set up. I'll get some gloves on, get these off, get them wrapped, and back on the smoker. Okay, so at this point, what I'd like to do is I'm gonna bump up the smoker to about 300 to 350 to finish the meat off. I'll check back in when the meat's closer to 200, 205, and we'll see you in a bit. Okay, we're probing tender, so at this point I'm going to pull the chuck off, and we're going to let it rest about an hour, and then we'll cut into them, so stay tuned. Okay, so it's been about an hour, and I'm ready to unwrap these and start cutting into them. They smell amazing, and they're just, honest, the wrap is just dripping. So let's get this thing unwrapped, and I know this is gonna be pretty good. Look at this thing, man. Woo! Wow, probably one of my favorite cooks of the summer, no joke. Thing's super tender, perfect brisket alternative if you're not looking to cook a long, like a 12-pound, 15-pound brisket. These were 5-pound chuck roast. Still took me about 8.5 hours to cook, but I think it's well worth it. Give chuck roast a try. We'll see you guys in the next video.